Never use that word.
Drew Brees, Brett Favre. Superdome, where Brett won his only Super Bowl. He's 40 years old. Drew Brees trying to get the Saints to the Super Bowl for the first time ever. Favre gets the ball first. Nice play by Bernard Berrian as he had a heck of a day, beginning of a long day for him. And then the opening drive capped off by Adrian Peterson. 19-yard dash up the gut. Favre was 6 of 7 on the opening drive. That's the way the Vikings quieted the crowd of the Superdome right off the bat. But back comes Drew Brees in his first possession. Fourth play of it. Over the middle to Colston, 13-yard gain. 3 plays later. What a day to be named Pierre in the National Football League. As Pierre Thomas takes the screen and does the rest.
Great play call.
Yeah, you got to love this screen. A good methodical drive by both teams to open this game. Touchdown, Saints.
A quick answer by the Saints after Minnesota drove down.
A 38-yard frolic through the Vikings defense to tie the game at 7. Vikings get the ball back. Favre on 3rd and 5. Incomplete to Percy Harvin, but we've got a flag on the play, and that flag's on Randall Gay for harassing Percy Harvin.
Yeah, you know the game is going to be physical, and I like the cornerbacks getting a hand on those receivers. Michael don't like that call, but
no, I thought it was a good call. He did a lot of the same thing with the
fresh set of downs. Harvin on the end around 2 plays later, and there's another penalty on the Saints. Bobby McCray blows up Favre at the top of your screen.
It's going to be the theme for the day. They're going to hit him as much as they can.
And Favre began to feel it right from jump street. 3 plays later, Favre on 3rd and 7 hangs in the pocket, takes the hit from Darren Sharper, and he delivers the ball to Harvin over the middle down to the 8-yard line. 3 plays later, 3rd and goal from the 5. Favre to Sidney Rice, the combination that put the Vikings in this game up 14-7.
Sidney Rice does a great job just finding the open space in the zone and sitting down, and Brett getting the touchdown.
First championship game to have a score in the first 3 possessions of the game since the 03 AFC title game. And in the second quarter, Reggie Bush with his first big play of the game on 3rd and 10.
You like how he finishes that run. Real physical. He's not always a finesse player. He'll run you over when he wants to.
One-on-one with a linebacker, coach. You got to take that match.
3 plays later, here's Pierre Thomas again. Shoestring catch, tackled by Madieu Williams, saving the touchdown. And the next play action, Breeze. All sorts of time to find Devery Henderson for the game tire.
You give any one of these guys in this game, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, that kind of time, you're going to get 6 points scored against you.
Minute 20 left in the half. Vikings are punting, and why do we show this?
It is a big play of boo-boo. You go from the hero to the GOAT all in 1 week in 1 play.
And it's a boo-boo and a big play. It's a muff punt and a big play for the Vikings.
Taking his eyes off the ball, looking at the oncoming tackler, that's a no-no as a punt returner.
And that's Eric Frampton live right there, making the hit, causing the muff, and setting up shop 2 plays later inside the 5. It's a fumbled exchange between Favre and Adrian Peterson. Steve, what happened
65
here?
lead. Now Brett's got to get it into that bread basket, and Adrian's got to get that front elbow up a little bit more, make a pocket, but it takes 2 to make an exchange like this. It's unfortunate. They had points going in
the red zone for the Vikings, and that would also be, unfortunately for them, a running theme throughout the day. 3rd quarter we go. First play of the second half. Brees play fake to David Thomas after Courtney Roby set up the Saints with a nice kickoff return of 61 yards. 3 plays later.
Beautiful catch by David Thomas right there, holding onto that ball.
1st and goal from the 9. Here's Pierre with the Florida lead, leaping for the end zone. It's ruled a touchdown. And had this been reviewed, though, they would have taken the points off the board, and the Vikings didn't challenge this.
Yeah, the knee is down and the ball is not across the goal line. But, challenge that, they may very well score in the next play or 2.
So the Saints are up by a score, 21-14. Next Vikings possession already on the plus side of the field. And Pearson fumbles again, but Nufau Tahi recovers for the Vikings to avert another turnover, but it's another fumble.
Say that 3 times real fast, but he got on the ball to keep possession with the Minnesota Vikings.
Nufau Tahi leaps on the ball. And the next play, look who's hanging out around the first down marker. Shoot! It's Vasante Shanko getting the yards right back. 20-yard gain. 3 plays later, 3rd and 2 from the 22. Favre. Nice arcing throw to Shanko.
After being held and everything, he still kept his focus on that ball. He reached out one big paw and reined that ball in to his chest for the
next play. The Vikings give it to who? The guy with some fumbleitis on this day, but they got to get him back on that horse, and Adrian Peterson gets him in that end zone to tie the game at 21, and the Vikings get the ball back later on with this game tied at 21. And Peter, is he just tucking it away?
I like that. Eric
Bieniemy,
Bieniemy, great running back coach, probably told him, get familiar with the ball. We're coming back to you.
But he fumbles again, though, the next possession, and somehow, someway, he beats all the Saints to the football as Roman Harper stripped it.
Got it locked away, and this is a great play by the defense, swatting at that football.
Yeah,
watch this.
But Adrian, watch him. Go get it, Pete.
Maybe that's a desperation of knowing he can't fumble again and still expect to play in the
If he had
biggest
hit
game
the
of his
hole like that, he
career.
would have had 200.
3 plays later, though, it's 3rd and 4. Favre takes the hit again. Chester Taylor, it's interfered with. No, it's Anthony Hargrove back in the pocket, lifting Favre and landing right on top of him.
A lot of blitzes, pressure by 4-man front and by the linebackers all day.
But he would feel it. He definitely felt this hit as he was grimacing in pain, upset at the hit, upset at how he was feeling, and then 4 plays later, Favre is picked off by Scott Fujita, and adding injury to that insult, Favre is hit even harder back in the pocket as the Saints celebrating the turnover. Favre having trouble getting up. His wife Deanna looking on in concern because Bobby McCray and Remy Adele just hit him high-low, and Adele, I
think the rollover is back at the end of it.
Well, but McCray hitting him low like that, that's the Brady rule. That's the Carson Palmer rule as Favre is checked out on the sideline. No penalty on that play, as it should have been a fresh set of downs for the Vikings, but the Saints have to punt on that possession, and Favre comes right back looking no worse for wear and hands it off to Percy Harvin, and he fumbles the football.
He's trying to exchange arms from his right to his left in traffic. It's okay to exchange, but you want to do it when you're clear and you don't have guys swatting at it.
Suddenly, the Saints with a big man with football are set up inside the red zone.
Coach, I don't agree going away from Adrian Peterson. He's your workhorse. I know he's fumble prone right at this point of the game, but you got to stick with him.
1st and goal for the Saints at the Vikings 7. The Vikings can't hold on to the ball, and 3 plays later, Breeze to Reggie Bush, ruled out at the half-yard line, but there's a red challenge flag on the field. Sean Payton wants the officials to take a second look at it, and upon further review, Reggie spun past the pylon.
Get that ball inside the pylon. That's a clear touchdown.
28-21, Saints on top with 12 and a half minutes to go. Less than 12 minutes to go. Vikings get the ball back. Peterson beasting his way north and south for a gain of 27. Hangs on to the football as well. 3 plays later. 3rd and 10. Favre finds his hot receiver on this day. 9 catches, 102 yards, including this gorgeous 30-yard reception by Bernard Berrien.
Great play now. He catches it, contested by the corner, but he's got a safety coming over the top. He's going to get licked, but this guy makes the big catch.
2 plays later from the 18, Favre to Berrien, who gives it right back. Would you believe? Another fumble. 6th fumble of the day by the Vikings. 2nd inside the red zone. That is lost. No points again inside the money zone for the Minnesota Vikings as Tracy Porter strips it. Jonathan Vilma, the Pro Bowler, recovers it, and Chile can do nothing but wonder what may have been had they held on to the ball. Saints get the ball back, and they fumble it too on 3rd and short. Brees reaches for the first down line. It's ruled down before the first down, and Peyton challenged.
Coach said, no, let's try this again.
He doesn't get back. That ball comes out again. And these are 2 best offenses in the league. A little sloppy today.
So
that's
Saints
what pressure does sometimes.
Saints forced to punt, and they're out of challenges with 6 and 10 to go. There's 7:13 to go with Favre.
Get out of my way.
Devasante Shanko throwing that appendage out there to stiff arm. 16-yard gain. 2 plays later, Peterson over the right guard. North and south. Holds on to the ball inside the red zone again. 1st and 10 from the Saints 19. Favre rainbows it up for grabs in the end zone to Bernard Berrien, and it brings down a flag.
Got one-on-one coverage on the outside, Coach. You got to take a shot. Cornerbacks get into the receiver, but he never turns around to look for the ball.
2 plays later, 2nd and goal from the 2. It's time for Adrian. Finally ties the game at 28 after all the fumbles. The Vikings are still in this game in a big way. It's tied with less than 5 minutes to go. Peterson getting some some love from his 40-year-old quarterback. Breeze trying to fire up the troops in the Florida League to try and get to the Super Bowl for the first time. The 4-minute offense on the field, and Breeze is hit and fumbles. Saints do recover and avert disaster.
Big
it's
right there.
3rd and long, 2 plays later on 3rd and 18. Breeze to Devery Henderson, almost gets it all back. Saints forced to punt. Now it's the Vikings with their 4-minute offense on the field. 3-minute offense to be exact. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game. It's 3rd and 8. Favre to Bernard Berrien, breaks a tackle, gets the first down. Vikings use their first timeout.
So the Saints going for that ball, Coach.
And they're going for it. They're in field goal range.
That's
right
a
now.
very rich man who's nervous. Next play, a minute 39 to go. Favre to Sidney Rice. What a great pitch and catch. Plus side of the field, 20-yard gain. Next play, minute 14 left to go. Ryan Longwell thinking he can win it with his leg. Here's Chester Taylor with a gain of 14. Saints use their last timeout, and the Vikings have all the momentum. The Vikings sensing their first trip to the Super Bowl since the bicentennial, people. 19 ticks to go. Why do we show a huddle? Because there's 12 Vikings in it. All sorts of confusion. Vikings try to call a timeout, but referee Monk calls 12 men in a huddle before they can. That's a 5-yard penalty, meaning it's now a 56-yard attempt for Ryan Longwell instead of a 51-yarder, meaning Brett Favre needs more yards, and he tries to get it by throwing over the middle, and it's late and picked by Tracy Porter.
Not a bad idea. Only 10, 9, 8, 7 seconds left at this time. You're not in field goal range, so you're not going to attempt the field goal. It's going to be too long. So Brett Favre is just trying to make something happen.
Or I say scramble out, go try to get you 3 or 4 more yards and let that thing run out. And let's try to a 70-yard. I don't care how long
go
it is.
into
Give us a
overtime,
shot.
just like the last NFC Championship game in which Favre played, in which he threw an interception in overtime, and the Giants won in Lambeau Field. That turned out to be the last pass of Brett Favre's career in Green Bay, and this game goes into overtime. The Saints win the toss because the Vikings call the heads, and we know tails never fails, and here comes the opening kickoff of overtime by Pierre Thomas, returned for 40 yards to the Saints 39. 3 plays later on the 43, Breeze to Colston. And there is a flag on the play. Asher Allen, the rookie's in the game. Why, Steve?
Cedric Griffin came out because he was covering the kick. He got hurt a couple plays before this. That was a huge loss for the Vikings.
It's a fresh set of downs as the rookie is called for illegal contact down the field. It's now on the Saints 48, 2 plays later. Breeze to Colston again. Ball is up in the air. All sorts of Vikings and Colston have a chance to collect it, but it falls incomplete. Next play, 3rd and 10 from the 48. Breeze to Devery Henderson. This is a 9-yard gain. Although it looks like he catches it past the first down, he doesn't collect it until he's in front of the first down line, just like that 4th and 2 in Indianapolis that New England had. Didn't have possession enough for the first down. It was challenged. It was upheld as the spot is short.
The receiver has to make sure he is beyond the first down marker. That's playing down in distance. And they did not do that.
And Sean Payton decides to go for it. Pierre Thomas leaps. He's hit by Chad Greenway. And on the hit, Pierre Thomas almost loses the ball. It's spotted as a first down. The booth buzzes down. And the spot and first down stood as called. Next play, 1st and 10 for the Vikings, 41. Breeze extends the play, throws it up to David Thomas. And even though it doesn't appear there's any contact and the ball's uncatchable,
he just falls. That's the big play.
Yeah, but the play was made by
interference.
The play was made by the quarterback Drew Brees, scrambling just buying a second more time to throw that ball up to make that pass.
Now the Saints kicker Garrett Hartley warming up for a game-winning kick of his own as Robert Meacham with a gain of 12 on 2nd and 14. Vikings call a timeout. They want this play reviewed. The booth buzzes down and it stays as called, even though the ball does bobble. You really can't tell if it hits the ground. So the play stood as called. Next play, 3rd and 3. Breeze is rolling out. He wants some more yards. He can't get it. David Thomas, it's incomplete. So here comes Garrett Hartley after a hard-fought contest to try and send the Saints to their very first Super Bowl from 40 yards out to send Brett Favre back to his Mississippi farm. And Garrett Hartley got it right down the pipe. And the Saints are going to the Super Bowl, going to South Florida as Brett Favre has another heartbreaking finish. If this is his last game as a Minnesota Viking, it ends the same way as his Packer and Jet career ended, with his last pass being an interception, but there's so much Favre watch still to come, of course.
Got that right.
The Saints are playing in a big game against the son of Archie Manning. Peyton Manning is standing in the Saints' way of their very first trip to the Lombardi Trophy podium promised land. And in his 4th season as head coach in New Orleans, Sean Payton has him going to the big game.